Actor, writer, and director John Krasinski says he doesn't usually worry too much about the critics, but for this new movie, If, there are two reviewers in particular whose opinions matter a whole lot, his daughters. If, which is out in theaters this Friday, is inspired by the imagination of his own kids. It tells the story of a young girl who discovers that she can see everyone's imaginary friends. The movie features an all-star cast, including his wife, Emily Blunt, also Steve Carell, Ryan Reynolds, and Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
So, are there more of you?
Say no!
Yes. Oh, yeah, lots more. I mean, almost every kid has one. Had one.
Had what?
A friend.
An imaginary friend?
If. We say if.
Get it? Imaginary? Friend? But also like, what if? Like, anything's possible.
Ooh, out.
I do get it. Gayle recently spoke to Krasinski about the film.
We're really excited that John Krasinski's in the house. Hi, John Krasinski.
Hi, everybody.
Number one, If, because it was like, If, imaginary friend. Wow, that's so good. As I was watching it, I was doing that too. Get it? Get it?
You are my biggest fan. I think you're my biggest fan.
I love this movie so much. I got such a lump watching it. I'm not the only one. Grown-ass men cried watching this movie. You described this movie, as you said, the most personal movie that you have made and will ever make.
I think so.
Because why?
Because I made this movie for my kids. I've always wanted to make a movie for my kids, but I wasn't sure what to do. And I had this idea to do something with imaginary friends, but I wasn't sure what my take on it would be. And I spent hours standing in the threshold of a door with Emily, watching our girls go into this magical world that as parents we're not invited into.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just the joy and how much fun they were having, it was the authenticity, the idea that they were themselves.
Yes.
And they were fearless, and they were doing all these amazing things, doing all these amazing voices, and then the pandemic hit.
Yep.
And
it's like,
I saw their lights starting to go out, and I saw that the world started to seep in, and that is the definition of growing up. And I just said, wait, I have to make this movie right now to show that that magical world, not a world that you don't know, a world that you created is there for you always, and you always have a friend that has your back.
I didn't have an imaginary friend, so part of me was very fascinated by this world because I see the good that the imaginary friends do. Did you have one?
I did. His name was Sam Brace. Because at the time, I think I was like 8 years old, and I always wanted braces when I was growing up. I found out later.
Kid wants braces?
I know. I don't know why they. I thought they were the coolest. Turns out they hurt.
Too?
I did the headgear. I did the palette spreader, the retainer.
Yes.
It was a full experience for me. But before that, I had an imaginary friend named Sam Brace, and weirdly, I only realized this when doing interviews, that we used to walk to the video store, which was for kids out there. It's a place where you actually go get a movie.
Yes.
But we used to walk to the video store and reenact the movies. So he was my action movie buddy. He was my comedy buddy.
Did you talk to him?
Oh, yeah. We went through all this stuff. Yeah. And then we even pretended we were in horror movies, and I was too young to see horror movies. So we thought werewolves were the de facto villains. We were just always running away from werewolves.
Yes.
And we went through a lot, me and Sam.
As good as can be expected. It's your show. Here we go.
I got to talk about the all-star cast because I deliberately, part of the fun for me watching the movie was trying to figure out whose voice was who.
Okay, you saw this. This is my life in a nutshell, okay?
Some were very recognizable. What was your pitch to people to get them to take part in this?
So as I was writing, I'm a terrible artist, but as I was writing, I was sketching these ifs. And when I was done with the script, I put them all up on a wall, and I truly just said, Dreamcast, who would I want? I put a name under each character, and I got every single one.
Really?
And I thought, I'm not going to do the whole agent thing. You know, I like doing everything personally. So
Yes.
I just called everybody up, and I said, listen, you have no reason to do this. It's a movie about imaginary friends. It's also helping kids cope about, you know, growing up and things like that. And I said, if you want to do it, great. I've never had quicker yeses in my life.
And everybody said yes.
Everyone said yes.
So
right
you
away.
didn't go through the agents. Well,
No.
you are John Krasinski. Are you aware? You are John Krasinski.
No, I was not aware.
People would take your call.
I didn't know I had that juice.
Good to see you. Oh, my Lord. I was just telling you guys, has it been years? Years. I'm glad we're getting it. This is so intimate.
And Steve Carell.
Steve Carell.
So was that an easy ask for you? I mean, number one, you two haven't been together since The Office, true?
It's true, yeah. And we hadn't seen each other in years because of the pandemic. But it's funny, I wrote the part for Steve. So I actually couldn't write this script without having his voice in my head, but I didn't know he was going to say yes. He might have been busy. He might have had other scheduling things, whatever. And so I wrote to him. I sent him the script. I thought it was going to be the most fun ADR session ever, and it was. But the first thing he did when he walked in.
What's an ADR session?
It's when you do the voice. Sorry, when he's recording his voice.
Okay.
Yeah, so his voiceover session.
Okay.
So he walked in, and I had this big smile. I thought we were going to laugh. And he came up, he gave me the biggest hug, and he looked at me like a brother, and he said, I just wanted to say how proud I am of you.
Oh,
and he said,
John.
I read this script, I love it. And he said, but ever since you started writing and directing, I love everything you do. And I wept, just wept.
I was going to say, what'd that mean to you?
It meant the world,
Yes,
because that's
I bet.
family. You know what I mean? That show, The Office, is family. And I've always said to you that no matter where I go or what I do, I'll never be known for anything more than The Office. And that's the greatest honor of my life.
Yeah, but listen, you were known for so much more, but they are talking about doing an Office spin-off.
Yep.
How do you feel about that?
I feel great.
Is it
I'm
something-
actually working with Donal right now. Donal
you
Gleason.
are?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
working with him right now. And he asked me about it, and I said, just so you know, the whole cast is super excited. We're all so excited that this world gets to continue, and it's Greg Daniels. So
Yes,
it's
yes.
the guy who actually created the show. That's like our de facto dad. He's our favorite person ever.
So will you be not involved in the production, but will you make an appearance or something?
He hasn't
maybe?
asked. He hasn't asked. I don't think he's asked any of us. Or am I the last person to get asked? Oh God, am I finding out now? No, I mean, listen. I would do anything for Greg. I would do anything for that family. I would do anything for The Office.
You're the father in the movie who's ill, and you're always trying to cheer your daughter up, and the daughter says, Dad, life doesn't always have to be fun.
Yeah.
But this father seems to think, yeah, it should be though.
Yeah, I think the line I say is something like, it doesn't stop us from trying. And that's the whole thing. Like, you can grow. Everybody's going to grow up. That's a fact. But we don't always have to let go of that childhood and that inner spirit that we always had. Because I always say that these ifs, they're not just adorable creatures. They're time capsules for our hopes, dreams, ambitions, everything we wanted to be. You can still tap into that every single day.
And we are proud to say that If is made by Paramount Pictures, part of our parent company, Paramount Global, and you can see it in theaters this Friday.